All right, guys, welcome back to the Rick Shiels Golf Show podcast, episode 321.
Hello.
Guy! You're back.
Yes. My headphones are quite loud. You've not got headphones on?
Oh.
Is that a new vibe? I've been away a couple of weeks and you started no headphones in.
So you're not telling me to put my headphones on, so I'm like, I'm gonna go rogue.
I wouldn't like having no headphones on. You can't hear yourself.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
As now a father of two.
Yes.
How's it feel?
Very good. Got my balls cut off this morning, so no more now. Done.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow.
they're off.
Done.
Gone. Never to be used again.
I just love how personal you are with our audience.
Yeah, no.
Just let them know.
I can walk without those two massive things dangling between my legs now. I can walk freely.
And now they're available on eBay to buy.
They are.
£6.
Second-hand set of balls. So, they work.
They work.
One very thorough user.
But genuinely, congrats.
Thank you.
Have you been getting much sleep, much rest?
Well, I was going to say if my wife listens to this. My wife doesn't listen to this podcast, so I can say the truth. Yes, I have been getting sleep. Not as much as I would without having a newborn baby, but more than I'm sure my wife is having. If I'm being honest about the matter.
Little boy. When's he going to get his first set of golf clubs?
See, this is the thing, right? I am adamant. I know everybody says this when they have a son if they play golf, or a daughter. My little girl's been and tried golf, kind of can take it or leave it. I am adamant I'm going to give him the best possible chance to be good at the game, and if he doesn't like it, so be it.
Yeah.
But
What's that?
he will be hitting balls young. Hopefully he loves it, in which case that is the dream. If he doesn't, he's like, you know what, I don't like golf. I go, you know what, I don't blame you. Neither do I.
No.
Really.
Let's go play another sport, son.
Yeah.
And you named him
Jack.
after one of the, well, not only after
Jack Nicklaus.
the greatest golfer ever.
Well,
it was Jack or Eldrick,
It
right?
Was, we had 5 names. It was Jack, Eldrick, VJ, Ernie, or Rory. We were gonna throw in an Annika as well, but he was a boy, so it's Jack. Yeah.
That's a strong name.
I know what I went with the simple name of. It's not a super trendy name. It's not an out there name. It's a very standard, solid British.
It'll live
name.
Last the test of time. Is that the right
Well,
saying?
one thing I noticed, my little girl's got a little bit more of an unusual name, and not crazy. When we tell people her name, they're a bit more like, "Oh, that's nice," but deep down they might be thinking, "I hate that," but they say it because it's a bit more different.
It's Lydia Ko-Charnock, right?
It's Dame Laura Davis Charnock. But with Jack, it's a bit more. Nobody goes, "Oh, I love it," because you're not going to say that, are you? It's a bit like saying, "What did you have for your tea last night?" I had a burger and chips. Nice. Yeah. What did you have? Oh, I had a beef goulash and da-da-da. You go, oh, okay.
Well, how come you had that?
Yeah, it's a bit more,
It's a bit more taste to it, potentially. No, honestly, awesome to have you back. And we're recording this podcast a little bit ahead of time. So we are going to answer loads of questions in this podcast. By the way, the last couple of episodes, if you've honestly not checked them out, and I know you did, obviously, while you're on paternity,
I thought they were
guy.
really not that great. I don't know what it was. There's something missing. There's a big thing missing.
A big special ingredient.
But they were very good.
Pete Cowan episode was
legend.
phenomenal. He sat in that very chair.
He did. That's crazy.
And then after Pete Cowan, like I say, such a great episode. If you want to learn more about how to get better at golf, the technique, working with professional golfers, how he structures his business, he was very open. I mean, it's an hour 40 minutes long, and we could have gone for another hour. And then last week we had Tom Young on, who's a psychologist who works for Team Europe with Luke Donald. He's one of Luke Donald's right-hand men when it comes to helping profiling the teams, putting them together, different personalities, but also he's a sports psychologist as well. So he gave loads of great tidbits. I think one of the things that really stood out to me is this idea of writing down 3 to 5 positives after a round. Even if it's a bad round, even if you had a stinker, write down what's the 3 to 5 things that you actually did pretty well. And it might even be, you know what? I didn't snap a club today. That's a positive. Or, you know what? I'm going to come back next week. That's a positive. But I think that positive mindset, keep reminding yourself what the positive sides of things are, then it's going to filter in. But yeah, 2 episodes there that are absolutely banging. If you've not had time to check them out yet, please do.
You know what's really interesting when you said that then about writing things down that obviously, go well, or like you joked about snapping a club, something that is as small as that. If you have had anger issues on the golf course, then small wins are still wins. We've said this many, 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 many times, but I don't think many of us, and us included, genuinely really do take a step back enough to look at how hard of a sport golf actually is and how crazy it actually is, and almost how crazy we are for playing it and trying to pursue this excellence that's never going to happen. And one example I'll give you, another podcast I'm a big fan of, I'm sure many of our listeners are, is the Chipping Forecast, which is Eddie Pepperell, Andrew Cotter and Ian Carter. Three of them, week in, week out. It's very much focused around Eddie's career and lots of other things as well. Eddie Pepperell just got his DP World Tour card back, which is great to hear. And he was playing this week at the Crown Australia Open that you might have seen some of. Yep. That was actually one of the benefits of my little boy not sleeping the day. I watched quite a lot of that on the final day, actually. It was like 3 a.m. Anyway, my point in question was...
That course looked immense, by the way.
It looks incredible. And Eddie Pepperell went out with an opening 68, and he was right up in the top 10 of the leaderboard, I think. I think he was actually leading at one point early on in his round. So he had a 68, really solid golf. His round 2 was 76, ended up missing the cut. Now... Eddie Pepperell's won on the DP World Tour before, very established golfer, and I'm sure this year will have a great year. I'm very excited to see how he does. Very big personality. But when you take a step back and think, I get frustrated going playing 9 holes, not playing very well, and I'm sure golfers listening do, but put yourself in the shoes of a professional golfer. Yes, they live a great lifestyle, but you're going all the way to Australia for a couple of events, whatever, admittedly, but going all the way to Australia, having a great opening round, coming off the golf course, feeling right, you're in contention here, you know, not making the cut, I'm in contention, looking forward to 3 more days of great golf. You then have a 76, and obviously don't play very well, missing the cut. Like, how brutal actually is golf?
And when you actually think of that, 76 isn't that bad.
I know.
Like, it's not terrible golf, is it? Most people listening to this podcast would, you know, probably sell a kidney to shoot, sell the balls to shoot a 76. Like, that is a really, really solid score around a tough course with crowds, lots of mad atmosphere, yet it's caused him as a professional golfer who's peak at his level to miss the cut.
It's brutal, and I think obviously this is a little bit old now because obviously we're doing this podcast kind of early, but Cameron Smith had a very kind of short putt. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see it.
He had a very short putt on 18 to get into a playoff with Rasmus Nergaard Peterson, and he missed it, which wasn't very Cam Smith-like, but he still came second, so it was a good week for him. There's obviously signs his career has gone a little bit downhill in the last couple of years, that's fair to say. He was kind of very close to getting into a playoff, and obviously who knows what would have gone on to happen. But very interesting. However, Rick, I want to start off with an email for you.
Go for it.
So this is going to take a bit of thought, and you have to be careful how you answer this, because there's 2 different takes on this, maybe 3 or 4 different takes. But
let's hear it.
It's from a guy called Austin. Nice name, cool name.
Austin.
His first name is Stone Cold Steve. Anyway, it says USA Golf Bro Vibe. That's the title of the email, Rick. It says, hi, what's your take on the current influence of what I would like to call USA Golf Bro online on YouTube Golf? I am a 33-year-old lad from the UK who enjoys a laugh and a drink, but with golf, I would really drink on the course, not massive about music whilst playing, and generally try and be respectful on the golf course. Obviously, there's a general difference in culture between the UK and the USA, but it really stands out with the attitude on the golf course. I don't hate the USA bro vibe, but I find it quite hard to watch or to buy into. Playing golf to get hammered with lots of ego and aggression kicking about is quite grating. Each their own, I guess, but give me the UK lads having a stroll on a nice links course all day long.
There are a few different ways of taking it, aren't there? I've encountered, experienced, what's he called it? Golf bro vibe.
USA Golf Bro.
And it is a thing. I don't know if that's the right terminology for it, but it is different in the US, you know, and certainly certain characters that I've played golf with over the last few years, I don't know whether it's because they're coming from other sports and certainly team sports. It's almost like they're bringing this larger than life characters to the golf course, which to be fair though is their personalities. I don't think people are acting different on the golf course. I just think a new wave of different people have started playing golf that they would have acted like that anyway. I think golf has attracted over the last 5 years, certainly since the time of COVID, a lot of other sports players, whether that's American football, whether that's baseball, basketball, whatever it may be. And that kind of culture of being quite loud and boisterous and aggressive at times has filtered in and drifted into golf because that's the sport they're now playing a lot more of. But they definitely in America, they play so much more music out on the golf course. Obviously, they're playing golf buggies a lot more, carts as in the US. Drinking is definitely a big thing in the US. You've got cart girls, boys going around serving drinks, etc. And it is just a very different vibe. And I think in small snippets, I think a lot of people in the UK would probably quite like that level of golf, but it might not be what they're accustomed to on a Saturday morning when they play with their friends, when it's a bit of a cold, or it could be summer day, and it's a bit more quaint, it's a bit more quiet, and nobody is ever too loud. And if somebody is too loud, you kind of get called out for it, don't you, in the UK? But again, in the US, it feels like because the golf course is spread over so much more land, even if people are being a bit loud, it doesn't seem to interfere with other people's play. Where again, here in the UK, a lot of fairways are quite close together. If one group is coming down one fairway and they're playing loud music and being quite loud and boisterous and drinking, you would hear it across so many different holes. I do really think it's just come from different sports.
I think it has, but one thing I'd also ask Austin as well is, and I understand and I kind of agree with him, to be fair, but he's probably alluding, unless he's played a lot of golf himself in the US, he is obviously based in the UK, I guess, but I think that a lot of this is amplified on YouTube that is actually disproportionate to the reality. So obviously in America, and you've played a lot of golf in America and been to a lot of golf courses, there are going to be people who are loud and drinking and, whatever. But I think on YouTube, where you have got bigger personalities, Bob Does Sports, the DOD King, these guys who are loud on camera and quite somewhat boisterous, obviously all the guys from Barstool and stuff, they are creators, and it is almost a bit of a performance. I'm not saying they're being fake, but they're amplifying their attitude a little bit and making it good content.
Yes and no. I would agree to that in parts, but honestly, the amount of times I've seen groups of lads on golf courses,
and that is like that.
They're not filming. Obviously, they're not and they're almost louder than everyone else.
Wow.
So I do. Yeah. It is a thing that's happening. And as many times we've gone out and played and filmed late on a day on a golf course, a normal golf course, and a group that's just come off or they sat around the clubhouse are really, really loud and obviously very intoxicated. It does happen in real life as well, not just on YouTube.
You know what I don't like, and this is, I might live to regret saying this, so who knows? However, I'll say it for the sake of the podcast. I am very happy when golf gets played by more people and more younger, quote-unquote, cooler people, because it's great for the game. So, we've used these names many times before, but Niall Horan is obviously a very well-known ambassador of golf. Harry Kane, Lando Norris, who just obviously won the F1 Grand Prix, whatever it's called, the championship. He's a golfer. It's becoming so much more cool to play golf. And I've used the example before when I was younger, and you were probably very similar. I was embarrassed at school, high school, to say I was into golf because it wasn't looked at as cool. And that's massively changed thanks to things like Tiger, Rory, and obviously these athletes as well. However, my point is, I do see some people coming to golf now and think, a little bit. And I just think it's golf is for everybody, so I want more people to play. But I also want golf to keep some of the traditions. And when I say traditions, I don't mean it being for white, upper-class, middle-class men, older people. But I do like some levels of respect and how, again, another example I've used before, if we were playing football and I was playing against you and I kick the ball out of play, I will claim to the referee that you kicked the ball out of play because I want the throw in. That's just what I'll die. If that's just football, golf, thankfully, 99.9% of people are honest and trustworthy. You keep your own score. You could prefer you lie, but you don't because that's not how you play golf. And I don't know, I just feel like some of what I see online now from some of the celebrities getting into it, I don't know, doesn't quite sit right. I don't want it to get abused.
Yeah. And it could do. I think the more people that get into it, it could get abused, couldn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
And there's no guardian of golf, is there?
No.
There's no
nor should there be, but I don't know. I mean, look, some of the examples, and these aren't necessarily good or bad, but obviously Kevin Hart has got into golf massively recently, which is a huge comedian in the US. I'm sure most people know that. I saw a post just literally yesterday that LeBron James having a simulator built in his house. The most famous basketballer, arguably of all time, behind Michael Jordan, is getting into golf. DJ Khaled has famously been getting into golf and played with Grant Horvat. I find him quite hard to bear, if I'm totally honest with you. That's just his personality anyway, isn't it? But I watched a bit of that video and it's not for me, but equally, is he doing more good by showcasing golf to his 30 million Instagram followers? Possibly.
There's definitely more. I saw a really good, I wish I'd saved it now because it would have been great to show it even in this podcast, but I saw a guy who was basically telling a bit like you, like growing up, we kind of the outside of golf thought it wasn't cool, but when you played golf as a kid, it was really such a cool sport. Like, I was proud internally that I was a golfer as a kid, and it was almost like everyone else was wrong that they're not playing golf. And I feel like over time that's changed so much more. Like, you know, I'm really proud that if I went to a party now and someone said, "What do you do for a living?" I'm a golfer, and they go, "Oh wow, it's like so amazing or fascinating." Obviously, I don't play professional golf, but I make golf YouTube. Where back in the day, saying you're a golfer was almost a bit, I don't really want to say that, because that's going to be retrieved as, you know, like say you're stuffy or you're posh, or you come from a nice background or whatever it may be. And even the fashion, like how many times now can you quite comfortably wear what you'd wear on a golf course out and about?
Yeah.
Like it has become so much more accessible. It is a challenge. But I think more people getting into golf overall is definitely a positive thing, and it is good for golf. I think what would be quite interesting, I'd love to hear people's takes, and maybe we can get some emails for next time, is how has it affected people, like real hardcore golfers who've been playing a long time? Because I've got friends in WhatsApp groups who go to a driving range now and they can't get a bay. And that never used to be the case. And they're kind of getting almost quite frustrated with it. On a Saturday morning, they could always play, and now they can't always play.
It's weird because, and I'll use an example on the podcast, Trafford Golf Centre, we obviously go there a lot, not as much recently, but, you know, used to work there, I used to work there. Holds a place in my heart, and we obviously get on very well with the guys there. I have been personally a bit disappointed before, and I've been and can't get a bay because it's rammed, and it's rammed with lots of non-golfers or people on dates or work dues or whatever. So one half of me is disappointed. However, on the flip side, Trafford Golf Centre have just announced some plans of their expanding and updating the whole place. It looks absolutely unbelievable. That wouldn't be happening without the footfall to get in.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I want to go to golf places with better facilities. Naturally, for those places to get better facilities, they have to have footfall and be creating a profit, so they need people to come through the door. Yeah. Typically, hardcore golfers, kind of like us, might go and get 100 balls and that's it. Not a lot of profit for the place. Whereas people on dates go in, they'll get a burger, get a hot dog, get a couple of drinks, get a couple of pints, maybe get too many golf balls, and that's more profitable for them. Yeah. So it's kind of like, you can't really have your cake and eat it, I guess. Yeah,
and also talking about new upgrades and new things as well. Marriott Worsley Park, another favourite place of ours, they've actually just had an indoor simulator built as well, which I popped into and saw the last couple of days. It looks amazing, really good. And I think golf courses need that a bit more. Like, you know, golf courses, if you're a member of a golf course, you want to be able to go in the winter when it's cold or it's wet outside, and Marriott Worsley Park have set up this simulator now that you can hire out, and it's really, really good. We might even do some potential filming in there if the weather's bad. Obviously, we've got our own studio, but I think overall, golf growing is definitely a good thing, but it's moving in a direction that I don't think anyone truly expected.
Do you have a question? Another one?
I'd love a question.
So we've asked on our Facebook group for questions today. We've had many, so thank you so much. We'll try and answer as many as we can. But Kev Corrigan has asked, what do you think of the new TaylorMade and Callaway drivers? So,
that's a very
can't
interesting
say a lot,
question.
but you've literally, fresh off the press, half an hour ago, been whacking them.
These hands you see now on video have just been holding the clubs in question. The TaylorMades and the Callaway have been testing them over the last few days and weeks. The embargo, so when we can officially talk about the TaylorMade and Callaway drivers, I think TaylorMade's very early in January, isn't it? Is it about the 3rd or 4th? I think
so. I can't remember off the top of my head. But
Callaway's a little bit later, about a week later. I've given them a full test from in studio, out on the golf course, etc. We've got loads of different drivers. I am impressed tremendously with one of those brands. One of those brands, I think have got a lineup, which I said in the video might be the best lineup that brand have ever released. So that's all I can tell you at the moment. Fraser Borthwick, will Tiger retire at St Andrews in 2027?
Who knows? Did you see his interview the other day at the Hero World?
Yeah.
Where he said he's obviously just starting to putt again and stuff like that, and do a little bit of chipping, and I don't know.
I saw he has got a sponsor on his arm as well. That's not like Tiger, is it?
Sponsor was he? What was it?
Some like Serenity or something, some sort of brand.
Didn't see that.
You don't normally obviously see that with Tiger, with him normally being with Nike, and you don't have sponsors. Jack Mitchell, do you think they'll ever see an official 5th major potentially in Australia or Asia?
Never.
For me, not the US Open, the PGA Championship should be more of a global event where it should be a major that travels around the world. But I don't think you're ever going to see a fifth major.
No.
Because that's going to skew up all the major stats, with this idea of Jack winning 18, Tiger winning 15, etc. If suddenly you've got 5 majors to have a crack at, those numbers become insignificant.
I also think as well that sometimes, like when the Ryder Cup was so good, I said, I'd like to get to every year, but obviously you don't really, because what's special at the Ryder Cup? It's every 2 years. What's special at the World Cup in football? It's every 4 years. And that's part of the magic. I think the fact there's only 4 majors, we want more, but I think wanting them's not it would ruin it. The 4 majors is what it's about. Like you said, if there was one that's a bit more exotic, maybe. But
I'd like to, because I think again, there's obviously been golf, live golf, travel 4 corners of the world and get some great footfall to the events in those territories. And golf is growing so big. Like, why should 3 majors be in the USA?
You know what? Question for you then. This is a very hard to answer question, and I've got no evidence to this for or against. It's literally a thought. When you hear about live, or we talk about like events going to other parts of the world, and obviously again the DP World Tour themselves just had 2 events in Australia. How much does it actually grow the game in those areas? Because
I can imagine massive amounts.
In what sense?
I think because, I don't know how much it's measured, but I'm sure it is. Like, I know when even the Open comes to the Northwest, like things like the Claret Jug does a tour around the different schools, and, people sat there and they get invites to go to maybe watch the tournaments or get a behind the scenes or, and I think in that generation where you think, hold on a minute, this is, I'm a kid, I'm into football or whatever, never really thought about golf as an option. And then you're getting put into a tournament that you see in the likes of athletes play. I think it's inspiring.
Yeah, I mean, there must be something behind it, but
and then there's also investment in those areas as well.
Yeah.
Often there's investments in local golf courses because the golf courses locally want to get better. Like, is Wallasey as good as it is because it knows that every X amount of years the Open's going to come back to Royal Liverpool, so they've got to keep their standards really high, and other golf courses in the area got to keep their standards high, and investment definitely goes into those districts.
Yeah, there must be something. I'm just thinking that again. I'm just kind of thinking it out loud, really. But like with those events, I think the one certainly did last week in Australia was really well. A lot of footfall there, most of which I imagine already golfers. And I'm just thinking a silly example, very silly one I know, but like if the World Badminton Championships came to Manchester, I wouldn't go. That's just me, obviously. Some people may go, but how many non-badminton fans would go and then suddenly start playing badminton?
So you're right. So the Ironman used to be in Bolton, not far from where I lived. And before that, I didn't even know what an Ironman really was, really. But when it started to come to town, like I would go out on that Sunday afternoon and kind of follow the support and cheer, take my kids and this, that and the other. Now, that's obviously not something you can just flick a switch and do an Ironman, but it definitely made me more curious and more interested. Now, that was literally on my doorstep, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it was like, it gave me a bit of an insight, and I remember following it, and I then recognised a few names who've done well, and you end up becoming a bit more invested in it. I think it's hard. It's probably very difficult to measure.
Yeah, no, it is.
Like you say, if the badminton tournament's down the road, am I going to it? No, not really.
You might do. You would end up getting...
They're true. Yeah. But yeah, I just think there's
I think the big thing is the facilities, though, isn't it? Because ultimately, how do people have got access to watching golf on the TV all the time? It's on YouTube all the time. So there's enough going on for youngsters or anybody to get inspired to play. But then if you get inspired to play and can't go and play anywhere, that's the biggest issue, isn't it? If you've got nowhere near you and no idea how to play, that's what's going to stop you. That is the barrier. There shouldn't really be a lack of motivation or insight online now, you wouldn't think.
For example, is football bigger in Manchester than other cities? Because you'd think you've got 2 massive teams in Manchester, do more facilities get built, do more kids get into football because of, maybe same as Liverpool with Liverpool and Everton, like do those areas grow more homegrown talent because, there are more football pitches. I don't know the information on that. Martin Humble has sent a message in. I know Rick is off the drink now, but following one of Peter Finch's and Four Bros' latest YouTube videos where drinking alcohol on the golf course and filming it, is it something Rick has ever done before, or would that be possibly a YouTube clip we see in the future?
So he's obviously not seen the one we did.
So I did a drinking challenge, a Guinness drinking challenge, which weirdly, every time I post it, I don't drink anymore. People think it's because I did the Guinness challenge where I drank nine Guinnesses in 9 holes. It's not. It was nothing to do with that. I did that pretty easily. That was the problem. I did that too easily. The video on Bob the Sports channel, we went and played a golf course, unnamed golf course in Scotland. Check it out. It's on their channel if you've put in Rick Shiels Guinness Challenge. Will you ever see it again in the future? I very much doubt it, unfortunately. I really enjoyed making that video, though. There's no question about it. That was one of my favourite videos I've ever filmed. But yeah, I think I'm about 500 and odd days, 520 odd days into not drinking. So I don't know what's going to break that.
The fact that you're keeping counting, does that mean there's a time when you will drink again? Because if you were never going to drink again, why would you keep count?
It's helped me keeping count.
To stop, just to never do it again.
Yeah, you just try and get to milestones, don't you?
Well, yeah.
I couldn't categorically say I'll never drink again.
That's what I mean. Like, for example,
I would like to drink again, and my how I'd like to drink again is going out. I went out for a meal with my wife last night. We had a chowminder, went out for a lovely meal, little Italian. She had a glass of Prosecco. I'd have loved to have a bottle of wine with her. I didn't, but I think that's what I would like to get into.
That's what I mean. So you do see a future, you do drink alcohol.
Correct. Yeah.
No, because the reason I asked you that question was, if it's something that you can, obviously it's hard to give alcohol if you enjoy drink, but say if I said to you, how many days is it since you last had
a cream egg?
A cream egg. You're not going to say 421. I don't know. It was whenever. But obviously, if you are keeping like a diary almost, or a milestone, that is normally because you want to reach something, or you don't want to break it.
I think it was always to get to maybe a year, and then once I've passed that, it's like, oh, let's just keep going. But you're right. It was just an app on my phone. I remember seeing other people who kind of stopped drinking,
I did it once,
who'd gone alcohol free using this app, and I was like, well, let's give it a whirl.
See, I felt bad for that though, because I did it for a while, and then I like, you know, I don't really like alcohol, so for me, it's not hard to give it up. But for like chocolate, it really is. So I'm the same with, like, I'll have a date on, I'll have not chocolate for this long, and that helps me because I don't want to break it.
Yeah,
everyone's got their own thing, haven't they?
It's definitely helped me. It's definitely helped me.
Is there a number that you want to hit and then you go right, or is it?
I don't know. I think it's more, what is the event that makes me want to stop that number? Like, what is it? It wasn't going out for a meal with my wife last night. That wasn't the moment I go, right, I'm going to now break that number. I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. Ollie Wilkie. When is Break 75 returning, or any new series planned for 2026? Well, Break 75 might be dead.
Wow.
Might be dead in the water, because I'm now going for Break 65. No, we're going to we've got great plans for next year. It's not going to be particularly 18-hole stroke play on my own for trying to break 75. I feel like we've kind of done enough of those episodes. So new episodes coming for next year, lots of new series, etc. So really looking forward to. Plan for next year is to release really, really incredible piece of content every single Friday on the main channel. And that'll be a variety of different content. You've got the Hit channel, which is going to be all about equipment. You make sure you subscribe to that channel, because that's where you're going to see the new driver releases for 2026 and much more. And then this channel might be having a little bit of a facelift moving into next year as well, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, the main channel, really high-profile guests, collaborations, cool golf courses, challenges, etc., all coming to the main channel next year. Would Rick Robbie Daly, would Rick consider changing golf balls for a week? Yeah, of course I would. I'd change golf balls, no problem.
You've used Pro V1 for a good chunk of time now. Yeah. I remember you used to use a TaylorMade TP5 for a while.
Yeah. TaylorMade came the other day when they brought the new drivers, and they brought some of the new TP5s. I'll give them a whirl, but I do have this default setting to go back to Pro V.
Yeah, I think realistically, if you were sponsored to a golf brand, which obviously you're not, and it was TaylorMade, it was Callaway, it was Strixon, it was Bridgestone, it was Titleist, they all make a great golf ball. But when you are completely open to use whatever you want, I think the way that Titleist have dominated for so long, 26 years nearly with the Pro V1, it's just become this gold standard. You feel like you're losing out if you don't.
You know what I want to do next year, and I feel like I've taken a step in the right direction with the grip change that I've done a few months ago, is I want to make sure my equipment is really, really suited to me. You know, I just want to maybe not leave any stone unturned. So if that does mean testing some new golf balls and seeing what spin rates look like or ball speed, etc., I'm definitely more keen on doing that. But being a bit more data driven, I feel like sometimes my decisions are very much on emotion and, oh yeah, I quite like that, so I'll put it in the bag. I kind of want to, you know, if let's say it is a TP5 that I'm thinking about, okay, well, let's actually put it through a test and maybe we make a video on it. Let's say, okay, well, what does this TP5 look like if with driver numbers or spin rates or putting or taking out the golf course, playing 9 holes, and actually make it a bit more factually based.
So it has to marry up, though, doesn't it, I guess? And a golf ball's a relatively easy one to do that, because if you know the numbers are great, even if it feels not quite how you like, you can kind of sacrifice and live with that. But even with a putter, if you got great numbers with a putter, but it just looked odd, it'd be very hard to use.
Very difficult.
Same even with the driver, I suppose. Obviously, you start to trust that if it's performing well, you do build trust, and that becomes confidence, and you start to like it. But you know, you have to still like the look and the feel of a golf club. But I remember trying the Pro V1X actually, and it performed better for me, but I just never switched to it.
See, for me, an X just feels too hard putting and chipping.
It does for me, but it launches better. But I think, again, I've gone, well, I like the feel of that one. I don't play enough to really be bothered.
Yeah, I want to just make sure that, you know, it's similar. I did that What's in the Bag video a few months ago, and I realised how many different grips I had on my products. Uniforming all those, going a little bit thicker. I've got the +4, what's it called now? +4?
I think it's MC, whatever, +4 or something.
Yeah, they're like the ones that are, it's +4. The ones that are a little bit more parallel all the way down, slightly thicker right-hand grip. I've really, really enjoyed those grips. And I think now, even if I got a new driver, I'm going to make sure that grip is put on my new products and have it very much uniformed.
Here's a question for you from me. Obviously, I know we're doing a relatively shorty today, unfortunately for people. But to leave something on the table for you to maybe think about, and people can maybe email us, podcast@rickshiels.com. What do you think in the next year, the next 2 years, could potentially be a new trend in golf? And I kind of mean trend in a sense of, I know it's hard because we're not engineers, but like the zero torque putters have really become a big thing this last 12, 18 months, haven't they? Obviously, you know, we had the spells, speaking of putter, where every putter started to get really thick, chunky, oversized grip, and now it's gone back to much more slim pistol style grips. You know, there's been this kind of 7-wood trend as of late, and very much high MOI drivers is becoming a thing again. Where could you see in the next, again, 12, 18 months, what do you think might happen?
I think wedges might change a bit. Mm-hmm. I know there's been a few tweaks and changes with wedges, as in score lines going all the way to the end now, grooves going all the way to the end and higher toe, etc., etc. But even just before the podcast with Pete Cowan a few weeks ago, he's got an unbelievable short game. He's renowned for having an unbelievable short game. And I said to him, have you ever got into club design? He said, no, not really. I said, what would you do different with a wedge? And he told me, and I don't want to share any of his secrets, but I was like, how has that never been done before? And I just feel there's more, and maybe I'm being optimistic for my own sake because my wedge game's not the greatest, but like, I feel like there's more that could be done with wedges, whether that's wedges, and again, a few brands have experimented with it, but I feel like you need a wedge that is has a very different sole design that's going to help so many different golfers, or more upright so you can take the wrist out of action, or think almost like a chipper but still a wedge. They've not kind of nailed it yet.
The other one that you've mentioned a few times, and I definitely subscribe to this idea, and it probably won't happen because everybody wants distance is the sexy argument, but a really forgiving driver
100%.
That, like we've said, is a shorter length shaft, that is maybe a bit more loft, is really aimed just trying to find the middle of the club face and sacrificing some club head speed, but actually the average golfer might get more ball speed because hitting it better with better launch characteristics and getting more distance out of it. There has to be something.
I can't believe a brand's still not jumped on that yet.
Because even mini driver, it's still a smaller head. Just get that 460 head.
I don't put a mini driver down. I know you love yours, but I don't put a mini driver down and go, oh yeah, I feel confident with this. Because I'm thinking it's big. It's kind of a big 3-wood. It's a smaller driver.
Yeah.
Well, if you had a 460cc head with 16 degrees, you can really see the face. It looks lovely and inviting to hit. Say put a shorter shaft in it. Oh, not too dissimilar to the top golf drivers that we end up testing, and they were really good. But just fairway finders, like how can you find a fairway?
The other thing as well we're seeing more, and this isn't a new trend, it's something that's gone for a while, and it really opened my eyes. I looked at, I think it was an Instagram post of a picture from a golf magazine. I think it was John Daly's golf bag from like the mid-90s, and basically I think he had 2 iron down to sand iron in like Callaway Big Bertha irons or X14 irons, whatever it was. But literally every club was one of those irons. So even the sand wedge and pitching wedge and lob wedge were part of the set. Yeah. And obviously then it used to be 3 iron to sand wedge, 3 iron to wedge, 4 iron to wedge. Now, most golfers are probably ordering 5 iron to pitching wedge or 6 iron to pitching wedge. You look in the Tour Pros bags now, they'll often have maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, might be one style. They might have a bladed pitching wedge like a Vokey. They might have a more forgiving 5 iron, even more forgiving 4 iron, etc. There's going to be more movement. I wonder at what point do we get where people only have like almost 3 irons that are actually a part of a family. You might have 9, 8, 7 of a set, and then everything else is hybrids or chunkier things and then more bespoke wedges. Like, at what point will a set of golf clubs almost not be a set of irons anymore?
Yeah, it's getting, we're not far off
exactly.
That, are we?
And even with better players, we're seeing it more and more and more.
I think the one thing that I've really appreciated the trend this year was like a Tacoma, making really good products but much better price.
Well, they have back to the original question before, the USA bro culture. That's something they very much married into, haven't they?
Yeah,
it's still a cool brand. You guys that you watch on YouTube play it. It's cheaper. It performs pretty well. It's got some excitement to it. It's very hard
from a brand in Finland.
Well, yeah, but it's very hard. This is something that back at my time working for Nike a long time ago. It's very hard for a brand to be aspirational and affordable. And you think about it, there's not many brands that can do that. Nike can do it in certain areas. Not lots of people, even if they've not got a lot of disposable income, can afford to wear Nike. It feels like a lot of people have iPhones, Apple iPhones, although they are expensive, they're still kind of somewhat affordable, certainly on a monthly plan. But really, outside of that, there's not many brands that kind of tick both boxes.
No.
So for golf, I think that's what Tacoma have done very well.
I think it's so good.
There's space for more, I guess, though.
Well, guys, lovely having you back.
Thank you very much.
A little short podcast today because we've got more driver testing to do. We shall...
Sorry, I've just thought of something before you finish up.
We are going to do our absolute best. I'm on holiday for the next few weeks, but I'm committing to making podcast still. So this is going to come out on the 16th of December. We're going to do another one the week after to come out the 23rd. We'll probably skip the 30th.
Okay.
And we'll get back with everyone on the 6th.
Yes.
So podcast next couple of weeks. We'll miss the 30th. I mean, it's in between that horrible time between Christmas and New Year. And then back here in the studio, ready for a brand new podcast in 2026 on the 6th of January.
I've had a change of heart and I think I want the balls back. Is it too late?
Yeah, let me just check on eBay.
Have you sold?
£6, £6.5p.
Wow.
It's not bad, that, is it?
I know. They are well used.
Uneven number, though. I'd like it to be an even number. Because obviously it's... Can't split
one is bigger than the other, so it makes sense.
Guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you all soon. Bye.